Hello everybody and welcome back to Belladonna. When we last left off, I had found one of the last notes, it looks like, but we're going to proceed on to the next room and see what we got. Now I still have a key, but I cannot...
That's a big wardrobe. I bet you could hide a corpse in there.
Oh!
Actually, I better not open it and check.
But I want to. Oh, well fine. Locker.
Let's take a look inside.
Ooh, a tiny keyhole and a rope.
Coils of rope. I wonder why we're keeping rope in the bedroom.
That is a good question. Okay, so I have a tiny key. Tiny key.
I wonder if this key fits.
I bet it does. Aha,
There's
big key.
There's a key hidden inside. A very important one.
Alright, so I have a big key now. Alrighty. Let's read the journal page before we question mark. Failure. The attempt was a failure. I could not lure my lost lover back into her deceased corpse. All my preparations in vain. All alone now. No one to turn my key. Alright, this is Belladonna. I have a big key.
Is she dead? She doesn't move a muscle, yet she sits upright. She's like a mannequin of human flesh.
Oh, boy. Do I really want to do this? Oh, I must be the maid. I must be Clara. If that's Belladonna, I must be Clara.
Clara, it really is you. I was so certain I'd never see you again. You didn't wake up.
I woke up. I've been wandering lost ever since, trying to find out what's going on.
How are you feeling? Do you remember me?
I have no memories of you, or of myself. But I found some notes lying around. I can only assume you're the one called Belladonna?
I am Belladonna, murdered and reanimated by Dr. von Trauerschloss. At first a mindless mechanical doll, but I slowly regained control over my brain.
But you still have to be wound up.
When the time was right, I broke free.
I saw the doctor's body.
Yes, I crushed his skull. Standing over his blood-soaked remains, I was free at last.
But where did I come from? If he was dead, was it you who brought me back?
Must have been.
Yes, my love. You were the only thing on my mind as I stood there, alone and victorious. I'd secretly watched the doctor's process, and I desperately wanted to believe that I could get you back. I unearthed your grave and carried your dead body down to the laboratory. I did everything right, to the smallest detail, but you didn't wake up. And my time was running out. I can't turn my own key, and now that I was alone in the castle, I knew my life force would run out quickly. But for all my effort, you remained dead, and with no one to keep me vital, I eventually sat down here and just stopped.
But I did wake up.
Yes, apparently you did.
Yeah.
Your body had been in the ground for quite some time. Perhaps that made the reanimation process slower, but with your key powering your brain directly, you did not have to go through the drawn-out, sluggish wake-up. I take it your cognitive powers and language have been with you from the start.
Well, yes.
So my key's in my brain,
and I have
her key's in her back.
The doctor's method, but I doubt independent thinking and free will was ever in his interest to reproduce.
Do you think you could do it again?
Create more of us, you mean? Yes, I hold the secret of life and death, and I plan to use it. The experimentations must continue.
And the two of us will have no place in this world.
Quite right. So, we'll make us a place. Dead bodies will never be in short supply. We'll make more of our kind, a whole new race of the damned.
Well, that's creepy.
Where do we start?
I know for a fact that there's a fresh body lying out there in the Great Hall.
The doctor.
His flesh, at least. We won't be using his wretched brain. I've already destroyed it in any case. But the body will do. We will have to find a few other ingredients. Will you help me?
Of course I will.
Alright, so I become the unwilling accomplice.
Thank you, my love. I'll carry the body down to the laboratory and start with the preparations, and in the meantime you can help me with a few other things. The doctor's brain is completely destroyed. I made sure of that. I don't think any of us want his villainous brain back amongst us. We're going to need to find a new one. Secondly, we will also need some clockwork parts. You have to manufacture a force to keep the dead body going. Thirdly, not only the brain, but also the head and the cranium were damaged. If we can find a new head, that would save a lot of reconstructing effort.
Oh, wow. A brain?
I saw a brain preserved in alcohol down in the laboratory.
Aha!
Oh, you did? That's good. That, my dear, is the brain of baby Lucas.
That's a pretty big brain.
Your son?
Lucas was never buried. The doctor had the body cremated very quickly and thus incinerated all the evidence that the corpse was not complete. He'd stolen the brain and kept it for himself. I don't know what he claimed about not planning on resurrecting his child, but the truth is that he kept the brain all the same.
Okay, I'll try to get my hands on the brain.
Thank you.
Alright, clockwork.
Clockwork?
Yes, we need something to supply the body with the force to move. We can't make the heart beat again, so we use the spring-loaded clockwork. In the future, we'll have to think of a source of parts more reliable than salvaging old-time pieces, but that'll do.
The grandfather clock.
I see.
Thank you.
And a head.
We need to find a fresh human head.
Yes, I've smashed up the head of Wolfram rather frivolously. I'm afraid it's beyond rescue. I was thinking of my grandmother, Francesca Canosa.
Yep.
I'm sure you've seen her portrait in the study. She was buried some time ago, but her cranium should be sufficiently preserved. She rests in the mausoleum in the cemetery outside, but there is a hidden way into the tomb behind the armor in the basement.
Okay.
Was it Francesca's portrait I saw in the study?
Yes. Francesca Canosa was my grandmother.
Okay, so that makes sense.
My family moved to this country several generations ago. My father, named Hugo, gave me the name Belladonna to allude to our ancestry. I was the last of the Canosas, and I acquired the name von Trauerschloss through marriage. And now, well, now I'm not very concerned with human family names.
That's true.
We will not reproduce in a mother-daughter kind of way, so what use will we have of family names?
I'll go take a look behind the suit of armor.
Thank you.
Alright.
Some things have been puzzling me.
Did I used to have hair? What is this I am wearing? On my way out of here, I killed a cat. Why did you put the winding mechanism on?
Did I used to have hair?
You had beautiful hair. Unfortunately, I had to shave it all off in order to operate on your head and open your cranium.
Alright.
Will it grow back?
I don't rightly know. Maybe.
We can put a wig on you.
See.
I mean, that's the best we can do.
I want to ask something else.
I'm here for you.
What is this
I'm wearing?
I'm so sorry about that. I covered you in scraps and bandages I found in the laboratory. I had to cut open and discard most of what you were buried in order to stitch you up. I want you to know that my plan was to be right next to you when you woke up, to help you understand and to find a proper dress. I'm so sorry it didn't come to pass like that.
Alright, on my way in here, I killed a cat.
I killed a cat. It was in my way and it felt so natural to just dispose of it. It worries me a bit.
How so?
I may have a functional brain, but what about a soul? Shouldn't there be something in me stopping me from hurting others?
Good point.
Is making me feel bad about it?
You're right. It did come very natural for me to murder my husband. But I'm not too worried about this. I have no desire to commit unnecessary killings, and I do have control over my actions.
What if you're raising an army of cold-hearted
That's actually a very good
murderers?
question.
They won't be mass murderers any more than you and I. And besides, why should we prioritize the lives of the living above the lives of the dead?
Well, I mean, okay.
I want to ask something else.
I'm here for you.
What else do we got?
Why did you put this wind-up mechanism in my head? Yours is in your back.
Yes, the damned doctor had placed my wind-up mechanism in my back. It goes straight into my chest and heart, giving me a strong central of power. But it is placed outside my own reach.
So, you can't turn it yourself?
I can reach
No,
back behind
I
my
can't.
head and turn
I have to
mine.
depend on others. That's why I chose to put the key in the back of your head, well within reach of your own hand. I know what it means to not be in control of your own existence, and I will never put someone else in the situation I'm in.
Alright.
Thank you.
Of course.
I want to ask something else.
I'm here for you.
I don't think I have anything else to ask.
I'll start looking for the objects then.
Thank you. Come talk to me if there's something you're unsure about.
Alright, so it looks like... Can I go into the wardrobe now?
That's a big wardrobe. But
Okay, well, I guess she still doesn't want to do that. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the clock first. I believe the clock is going to hold the clockwork parts that she was talking about. At least I think. We're going to find out. Okay, let's go to the grandfather clock. Then we'll, I guess, go downstairs and...
I see a lot of mechanical parts in there. I need to get them out somehow.
Okie dokie. How do I plan on doing that? I'll install candlestick rope. Maybe a candlestick? Can I use the candlestick on it? Let's see. Let's see what I can do.
I see a lot of mechanical parts.
Okay. Can I use the candlestick?
I don't know why I thought that would work.
Okay. Rope.
That makes no sense. I'll just tie this rope to the lantern.
Oh. I have a lantern on a rope now.
I need something else.
Can I bone saw the
Interesting, but no.
Oh, well.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, it really doesn't. That's a good point.
I don't know why I thought that would work.
I have a lantern on a rope now. What the hell am I going to do with a lantern on a rope?
That won't work.
Well, hell. I guess maybe I'm supposed to go down and get her head first. Let's try that. Come on. Go to the dinner room. There you go. Alright, let's go to the basement. Maybe we have to get the parts last. That might be what we're trying to do. Alright, let's go ahead and head on down. I really kind of wish that she could walk a little faster, but whatever. I can't really help that. Suit of armor? What you got?
Belladonna was right. There is a secret switch behind Roland the Poet.
Okay, well, she's still calling it things. Okay.
It's too dark down there. I won't see my hands in front of me unless I light the crypt up first.
Alright, well, let's land on our rope.
Yes, I can lower the lantern into the hole.
There we go. Ah, secret entrance. Okay, let's go down here.
Amazing. I must be directly underneath the mausoleum and the cemetery.
Alright, there's a journal page here.
I can't believe it. It's another letter. How did it end up down here?
That's a very good question. After insistent probing from my lady Belladonna... Oh, it's Clara! I too take the pen come evening. The scribbling does not come as readily for me as it does for her, yet I do most certainly see the appeal in the activity. So much has happened in the life of late, my brain is overflowing with joy and secrets and disorder, and if I manage to write a map but a fraction of it all, that will be an enormous relief. Verily, it all centers around Belladonna, the queen regent of the castle, who has turned the benevolent face toward me and thus filled my person with happiness I had previously thought unimaginable. I still remember the first time I saw her, standing next to her husband when I took up work in the household, and I remember how she seemed to me to glow. The two of them lost a child shortly after that, and the tragedy would linger in the castle for a long time. All the other servants started to leave one by one, but as much as I wanted to, I found myself unable. I kept postponing my departure with each new day, and I found myself dancing around Belladonna's flame, drawn to it as strongly as I had been before that from that first glance. By the time she finally recovered from her melancholy, I was the only one left in the castle, and it was at this time the miracle happened. Belladonna saw me in a new way, this tempestuous affair, galloping and world-shaking, and yet so quiet, so hidden. The castle is ours to rule as we please, but only as long as we do not arouse the suspicion of the grave-robbing goblin in the basement. It is as if I stepped into one of the fairy stories my grandmother used to tell. But Nana's stories never ended, always ended with someone losing their head or being eaten alive. The seemingly everlasting, this bliss of ours, a seed of doubt, is growing in my heart. Belladonna is married after all, and who am I to break their wedlock? Theirs is not a happy union, true, but I am seducing my love to break her vows and soil her soul, and what wretched ruin that will bring upon us. For a long while, Belladonna was all I dreamed about, my queen and goddess, and my deepest wish for her was to let me into her life and let me worship her. I thought I would give up anything for that, and now that I'm here, I wonder if I have sacrificed too much. Belladonna comes from high society, and she doesn't realize how much she takes for granted. It's still clear who the lady and who is the servant. Can I keep on living like this, or will I have to do the unthinkable and leave her? I made Belladonna promise not to read anything I wrote, and looking at what I have just put down in the ink, the weight of that promise is clear. I have forged into words thoughts I did not know I had, and it is vital that these pages remain secluded from prying eyes. Secrets upon secrets, I shall hide this letter inside the old armor in the basement, whom I call Roland the Bard, where I doubt anyone will find it. I am descending into that dungeon as soon as I'm done here, and I'll hide this note on my way, as the master has asked me to fetch him a certain plant from the greenhouse. It's strange, as this whole situation is, I must still obey his requests, if only to keep up appearances. So even in life, she called him Roland the Bard. Now she calls him Roland the Poet. Bleh. But, yeah. Anyway, I think we're going to go ahead and call it for right now, because of the fact that there is... there's probably going to be one more episode worth if I can find all the stuff. 2 more if I'm really dumb, and that's probably the case. But anyway, we will go ahead and we will call it here. I am Flog. This is Belladonna. If you would like to check it out, leave a link in the description below. Be sure to check it out because it's really cool. And otherwise, I will see you guys in another video. Be sure to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. Click in the upper left to subscribe, and then check us out playing Painkiller.
Notoriously has one of the worst senses of direction that I've ever met before. So...
Also, make sure to check us out on Google Plus and Twitter for all the new updates for the channel, and then check out Paranautical Activity.
Take this! Take this! I'm up close and personal to you, you giant...